that was probably my greatest lesson from his experience was is how therapeutic staying positive is, and it's something that we adopted very early on in his illness. And Jackie and I talked, and we decided that we were going to try to stay as upbeat and positive about everything, no matter how bad things got, because you could see that if we were just the slightest bit frightened or upset, that gets picked up on and transferred, and we didn't want that, and so we approached everything with that's not so bad, could be worse, things are bad, but we're going to get through them. And we prayed a lot, but I think it's just staying really positive made him really positive. And one of the things that we found out about Buck's Barn and why Buck's Barn, and it's amazing how intuitive Buck was about this, is that just a little bit of happiness and distraction paid untold dividends and improvement. And so partially where he got the idea for Buck's Barn was this little cart that the Assistance League drove around in the hospital, and those kids, whenever it came time for that thing to come around, they'd go round and round and round it. It had games and puzzles and some books for the parents, and the parents are about the same way. They kept going round and round, and we spent 15 minutes looking at 20 things, and he got to where he just couldn't wait for Friday when that thing came around, and it was all about distraction and get your mind off of it, be happy. It's really interesting looking around at that stuff, and then we've seen that over and over again at Buck's Barn. And but with him, every little thing that came along that made him happier or that made him feel better, for whatever reason, you would just watch his medical stats just skyrocket. And so I am totally convinced that there is no greater medicine than being positive, staying positive, and convincing yourself that you can get through something and do something.
And I think this is interesting because when at work, you got plenty of big challenges, right?
Right.
That you have to do because you're getting paid. This one you have to take on because it's the most important challenge you've ever taken on in your life.
Right.
But I mean, is there any sort of correlation? Because you said you have this, it's just a can-do attitude, and okay, I'll take it as a challenge, right? Is there any correlation between the attitude you take at work on these projects where they go, guess what, Steve?
Oh, I tell you what, there is no question that after coming off of that experience, that there's nothing that could be any worse than that. I mean, honestly, facing the loss of your child is the worst thing that could ever happen to a person. And so you walk away from that experience with, it's not that bad. Well, it's nothing ever could be that bad. And we got through that, and despite it all, and in spite of it all. And I guarantee you, from that point until today, has had a huge impact at work and everyday life, across the board. Just, it really changes you, and how you think about things, problems, issues, tough times. It gave us a lot of confidence. We tried, it was hard, we were down as slow as you can get, and we made it back out. But I many times I'm sitting there at work with a really bad personnel problem or something, and I'm just thinking, oh gosh, this is awful. And then I think, yeah, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
And really, since the award is about leadership, and Buck is just says that, you may not know it, you may not know it, right? But you are a great leader. You're a great leader at work. You're a great leader at home. What do you think when you hear that, and just what do you think when you hear that from your son, and what does that mean to you?
Oh, it means everything. It's that confirmation of what you've tried to do with the most important thing in your life. It really is. Your kids are your most important thing in your life, and to get this feedback at some point like that you did okay. It's about the most gratifying thing in the world, and same thing at work. I mean, this award is just incredibly humbling in that regard as well. Worked hard, really tried hard to take a lot of classes in leadership and put a lot of that stuff in practice, and seen it work, and to have others now recognize that it has is just the most gratifying thing ever. It's wonderful. It's just the greatest feeling, and it's such a privilege that Parks and Wildlife does this for its employees, because it really does make you feel appreciated.
Oh yeah, so what's it mean to you to be, to be out here? You said something amazing yesterday, which was, and Buck said it's like the same thing. It's like y'all read from the same script, but the feeling that you get being out in nature, and what does it mean to you to be here, with your son out here fishing? How important is that to you?
Yeah, there's only a few things in life that will make you feel like life is worth living, and puts the spark in you, and that's what being out here does to me, and I think to Buck too. And I think it was best said by a friend of mine a long time ago, and we're coming up here to go hunting fairly regularly, and one day we were both at the gate and we were leaving, shaking hands, giving each other a hug, and he looks at me and he goes, what the worst part about this place is? And I said, what? And he said, leaving. And it's the truth. I mean, you get up here and you get so involved in it. It's so relaxing and peaceful and spiritual. And I don't want to leave it. I really don't. I cannot wait till we're living here, to where when I leave here, I'm actually home still, But it is very special, and I feel so blessed and privileged to have a place like this. And it's especially meaningful to me because of family history and our deep roots here. But beyond all that, I mean, what a gift, huh? Look around. What a gift. And it's one I could never repay. I mean, and so I feel very privileged and blessed. It's just the exact kind of thing that makes me the happiest.
It would make me happy too.
Yeah.
Make me